So, just before I took my dog for her daily walk, I was reading about the LMX theory, and for some reason I thought, oh, I'll take a little video of where we walk, and that was Maya there in that clip, and show off my surroundings, which I suspect look a little different than North Carolina or some of the places that you live on the East Coast. It's really dry here right now, but it will green up as soon as it rains. Just a little bit of rain can really change the landscape here. There's no connection to the LMX theory, but I think because I was reading about it, I just thought, oh, I'll take a picture and share. So, little video and some pictures. So, I kind of have some notes here, and that's why I keep looking over, but I was uh, trying to think of ways that I've maybe seen the LMX theory at work, and I haven't really noticed like a dramatic here's an in group and here's an out group, but I certainly see elements of that, and so I was thinking about it in terms of my own leadership, and you know I recognized that I think like anybody, we're drawn to working with certain people more than other people. I've always thought of it more as a personality issue, not so much as being part of the in group or the out group. As I noted on the Padlet activity, I sort of felt a little bit like this was seventh grade girls. There's the in group and there's the out group. That's what sort of popped into my head when I read those terms. And I don't like to think of myself as this, seventh grade girl anymore. But I did like that the LMX theory, when sort of applied well, would let people move in and out. And I think that's something to be conscious of, to always make sure that those opportunities are there for somebody to become a more central part of the group that you're leading if they are interested, and to make sure and not shut down people who maybe originally were slow to rise to the occasion, if that makes sense. So I think I liked that that was mentioned as a way of ensuring that this is not a leadership style that has any bias to it. If people can come into the in group. So it did make me think about how I interact with people, and the people I maybe don't connect with as strongly. Is it just because I'm not connecting with them, or is there something that's making me less responsive to their needs as a leader? So I appreciated that this theory sort of put me into that self-reflective mode. I did think it was interesting when Northhouse was talking about sort of one of the limitations of LMX theory, and the idea that we don't know always why people work harder and on something. And I think for me, I know people, I know I work, I always work hard, but I certainly work harder when I'm really passionate about something. And I know as a leader, I want to be surrounded by people who are passionate about the same things I'm passionate about. And so I think it's important for us to provide opportunities for people to work with things that interest them. We don't always have that luxury, but I think fortunately in education, you often can decide what projects or task forces or committees you want to be on. More often than not, at least where I work, we are able to pick and choose. And I know, I think that's important. I think that's what drives people to work harder, is when they're working with something or on something that they're really interested in, instead of being told to do something. So I think probably if we're told to do something, we're more likely to be in that sort of out group, because it's not the thing we're maybe most passionate about. One of the things that I uh, really related to with the LMX theory was when Northhouse said, and I'm going to just read what he wrote. He said, a person with a network of high quality partnerships can call on many people to help solve problems and advance the goals of the organization. And I actually wrote me in big letters on the side of the page. Uh, I've mentioned before, most recently I was the distance ed coordinator, and in the time I did that, we made a lot of changes to training requirements. Well, basically from no training requirements to about 90 hours of requirements to be able to teach online. We implemented a course shell review process, and we changed learning management systems. And I was able to do that because I had these connections to the president, to other administrative leadership, but then I was also able to draw on faculty connections across campus, not just in my own discipline, and even to staff, IT staff, people who uh, needed to be involved to get that work done. And so I thought that was interesting when Northhouse talked about that partnership piece, because I did identify with that in my own work, and I was able to get financial resources to implement these changes, but also just sort of people support, or you know evangelists of the work we were trying to do, as some people say. And so I definitely saw elements of the LMX in my own leadership style. I just didn't like the idea and the image it put in my head of sort of those in groups and those out groups. But I think there's some other pieces to it that I definitely could identify with. Thanks for listening to me ramble.